Well, hello everyone and happy Wednesday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest here, welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. As always, wherever you're watching the stream today, whether that is on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream on our website, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Wednesday afternoon here. Now we have quite a few stories to bring to you all, so I say let's begin. Now, let's begin in Decatur, where Decatur police officials recently wrapped up a press conference regarding the announcement of its new interim police chief. Nadis Carlisle will now lead the department while officials continue their search for a permanent police chief. This comes after former police chief Todd Pinion announced he's stepping down from his role after what he called lack of support from the community and city council last week. You can still watch that full press conference that we streamed at 3 o'clock this afternoon right here on our website, Facebook, or YouTube channel. And 48's Callie Neese will have more on this situation out of Decatur coming up in our evening newscasts. But now in Huntsville, where earlier today a capital murder suspect was acquitted in a 2021 killing. Earlier today, a Madison County judge dismissed the case against Terrell Bradford. The judge agreed the evidence did not support continuing with the trial after 2 days of testimony. Bradford was released from jail after 4 years in detention. He had been accused of shooting and killing Rashana Brooks, and 48's Faith Delp will have more on this situation coming up. And now in Albertville, a 26-year-old man is facing a rape charge after a minor gave birth last week. The Marshall County Criminal Investigation Division received a report involving a minor who had been given birth on February 19th, 2025. After investigating the complaint, a felony warrant for first-degree rape was obtained for Manuel Andres Francisco. That's who you're seeing on screen, and he was arrested. He was booked into the Marshall County Jail with no bond pending an Anaya's law hearing, and officials say additional charges are expected. But now let's talk about this beautiful weather we're seeing here in North Alabama today. Absolutely gorgeous out there without a doubt. But we better enjoy and cherish it while it lasts because I hear cold weather is moving in. But now let's turn it over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis for a look at the latest forecast.
Well, let's go through the rest of the day today. Boy, enjoy it. These are the days we kind of look forward to when we think of transferring from February into March. And just like it always does this time of year, each day is a little bit different. Tomorrow will be colder. I should call it cooler. We're going to be in the 60s. That's about normal for this time of year. Right now it's 77. We're 1 degree shy of a record high temperature in Huntsville. The record high in 80 is 80 out in the Shoals, I should say. It's 79 there, so we're awfully close, near record territory. And the good news is we're not going to pay for it. Usually when we see record highs this time of year and a cold front on the way, we're talking about strong to severe storms. We're barely talking about rain tomorrow. Here's the next 12 hours, 57 at 10 o'clock in the evening, 55 at 1 a.m., cloudy at 4 a.m. The wind shifts around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and directly ahead of it is where we're going to start to see a few very light showers. Here's 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Notice how narrow this band of very light rain is, and this has been shrinking every model run for the last 48 hours or so. We started out with a 30 to 40% chance, and now we're dropping it to 20%. By noon, even with a northwest breeze at 10, gusting to near 20, it's still okay out there. Temperatures in the low 60s and sunshine returning. Over the next 3 days, we're back in the 60s Friday, 66, 63 Saturday. However, we drop back into the 50s on Sunday. So much cooler to finish out the weekend.
Thank you, Brad. Now, recently, Kristi Noem and the Department of Homeland Security pulled the plug on a federal program that began a decade ago. The program allowed immigrants to seek protections in the United States and work legally. In August, pictures and videos of Haitian workers coming home to Athens, Alabama by bus from area chicken plants raised many questions throughout the entire community. Now deportation looms for some of those workers due to the Trump administration's recent decision. 48's Nick Ballinger with all the details.
I really love my country, but I can't go there right now.
Dr. Salev Izine fled Haiti 2 decades ago thanks to a refugee program similar to the one that will end in August, sending more than 500,000 Haitians back to the country they left out of fear.
People say that they support legal immigration, but then you have people following the rules, and then the rules are changing on them.
Immigration attorney Kimberly Fasking says she was heartbroken to hear the Department of Homeland Security was ending the Temporary Protected Status Program, a program that dates back to 2010 and was extended to February of 2026 under the Biden administration. The new Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, is now moving that end date up by 6 months to August 3rd.
Generally speaking, that protected status isn't ended until their country is actually safe to return to.
Haiti remains in crisis with a hostile gang takeover happening in much of the country and a failed government. A do not travel to Haiti advisory is even listed on the State Department's website.
Not like it is right now. Right now, it's way worse, 100% worse than when I leave the country. There is no law, nobody to control the gangs. They do whatever they want, and nobody is doing anything with them.
He showed me these pictures of dead bodies laying in the street taken just yesterday. He says sending Haitian refugees back would be a death sentence.
And you know what's going on in their country right now. People are dying every day, especially when you come from America.
This DHS memo says the previous extension was not in the national interest of the United States. According to an Immigration Forum study, TPS holders from El Salvador, Honduras, and Haiti have contributed a combined $4.5 billion to the nation's GDP. And Izine says there are 7 people in his church congregation on TPS.
What's that like, knowing that you could be deported at any day? What's that like?
It's scary.
And now a follow-up on a story we first brought you out of Harvest after Taylor North, a Circle K gas station clerk, was shot and killed while on duty. Now a new law is in the works to protect workers such as North. 48's Callie Neese with more.
State Representative Andy Witt told me that evil came into our community the night Taylor North was killed. That's why he is drafting a bill in the hopes that no one will ever lose a wife, a mother, or friend the way North's family did ever again.
And every time that someone comes in the door, he's asking, is it his mother? And unfortunately, we know the answer to that.
On February 1st, Madison County deputies say a man named Jerry Williams walked into this Circle K on Harvest Road and shot and killed Taylor North, who was working behind the counter. The random shooting rocked the community and devastated North's family. They have been calling for greater protections for workers like North ever since. North's aunt even said she wants bulletproof glass installed in gas stations around the state. Witt, who represents the Harvest area, said he has heard these cries for change and is working on a new bill to protect workers. It's called Taylor's Law.
So I'll work hard for the family. They've got my word, and we will go from there to see if we can't come up with something that will put safety measures in place to protect our citizens.
Witt says he's still working on the specifics of the bill, but he does plan to introduce it during this legislative session.
The thing we need to look at and focus on are 2 things: the safety of our clerks and holding people accountable. But second of all, what caused that individual to come in? So I think we need to go down and look at every avenue we can as far as protecting these individuals of these crimes, and we will see what we can come up with.
Jerry Williams has been arrested and charged with North's murder. For more information on North, visit our website, WAFF.com. Reporting in Harvest, Callie Neese 48 News, on your side.
In Colbert County, yesterday we learned that one school system is rolling out new security technology to detect weapons on campus. 48's Aria Pons lets us know how the rollout of the new technology is currently going.
This sign right here is to let students and visitors know exactly what they're walking into. Cherokee High School is the first school in the Colbert County school system to roll out these brand new weapon detection systems.
You know, the kids are somebody's most valuable asset that they have at their home. And I know my kid is that way at my house, and I'm sure it is with, the families here in Cherokee, and so we just want to keep them as safe as we can.
Colbert County schools already had a few of these systems they were using for sporting events, but school leaders just recently bought enough for each school in the school system.
It's sad that we live in a world and a culture where this has, become something that's necessary, and I hate that that's the world that we live in, but I think that everyone recognizes the reality, and that makes it a day that I'm thankful that our Board of Education and we've been able to work together to provide these for our schools.
Superintendent Nathan Fuller says the district bought 15 detectors to use across its 8 schools. Cherokee High is the first to have them inside its doors permanently. Principal Roy Lawson says they're welcome additions.
It went well. You'd have some that would go through and stop and look, to make sure it wasn't going off or whatever. But, for the most part, the kids handled it, well, and it's, we've had a good day.
Fuller says district leaders decided to buy them for just one reason.
Students learn better, they make more progress, have more academic growth and achievement when they feel safe, when they're in an environment that welcomes them in.
School leaders say they're slowly rolling out these detection systems in the other 7 schools in the coming weeks. Reporting in Cherokee, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
And now check this out. One of the oldest African American cemeteries in Huntsville now has a brand new digital app. 48's Margot Gray tells us all about it. Take a look.
Okay, y'all, if you look at the beginning of this, you see that it has all the history about Glenwood. So if anybody came in, they would be able to get all the Glenwood information, and then they would be able to go to a particular site.
Well, Sam, look at those little knobs.
Today we're just taking 3 groups and we're saying, okay, let's make sure it works. As a former history teacher, then this is huge that my students would be able to come and find out about all these people.
We started with India Herndon Dixon, which was one of the first black women to register to vote here. And where does it say to go based on the satellite image? Okay, we're going to go across the road again.
Charles Lucian Jones. And we had to use the satellite map, but also the picture of the headstone was how we found him.
Yeah. Each entry has images going from one site to just the next one to get you oriented.
Use the ancient Egyptian saying which just says that when the names of the dead are spoken, that they live again. And what people can do now with this technology, you can give them life. What we would like to see more than anything is people to identify the unmarked graves and place headstones there.
I see. No, they're important to the history of Huntsville, but we cannot find their markers. That doesn't mean they're not here and somebody else doesn't know where they are.
We've made it available to everybody. It's so exciting.
Super cool. And now coming up after the break, we'll talk about a new Dollar General set to open in one Lawrence County town that has become a concern for some residents, the measles outbreak we're seeing in Texas, and a free event this Saturday that is encouraging you to break away from the stigma. It's all ahead. I'll see you all in 1 minute. Well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Now in Moulton, where yesterday 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy brought us all the story on one neighborhood's residents expressing their concerns on a brand new Dollar General opening nearby. The new Dollar General will be located on Market Street, but residents living near Market Street say the new Dollar General will only worsen flooding in their neighborhood. They explained that Crow Branch Creek always floods when there is a lot of rain in a short period. Jenna Ade, one resident, says the traffic and construction is already causing problems. Take a listen.
It's so close to the neighborhood. I'm worried about people stealing, roaming the neighborhoods. You never know. Plus, we already have two. This one's like in the middle of them. Doesn't put a lot of distance between them. Makes no sense.
Now in a bit of national news, a growing measles outbreak in Texas is quickly becoming a crisis. This after the state's health department just reported 124 total confirmed infections, up from 90 last Friday, and roughly double the figure Texas reported just a week ago. And other states are reporting new cases too. NBC's Sam Brock joins us now with more on what he's learning about the outbreak.
West Texas today is trying to get a handle on a surging measles crisis, now up to a whopping 124 cases, according to the Texas Department of Health. What started in Gaines County on the state's panhandle has spread to 8 other counties, from Texas's northern tip to Lubbock, a county of 300,000, as the number of confirmed infections has doubled each of the last 2 weeks. How alarming do you find that rate of spread?
The rate of spread is alarming, but also not surprising. Measles is literally one of the most contagious viruses that we know, much more contagious than COVID or the flu.
Texas health officials say of the 124 confirmed cases, more than 100 are patients under 18 years old, and a mere 5 cases involve those who are vaccinated. Frightening for parents like Karina Perez from Lubbock, whose 18-month-old daughter is immunocompromised.
If you don't vaccinate your children, we will run into them in those public places.
Spanning the nation, neighboring New Mexico has 9 cases, Georgia 3, New Jersey 3, and Alaska, California, New York, and Rhode Island have all reported at least 1, though those numbers are almost certain to climb.
We've been seeing a disturbing increase in the numbers of people who have not been getting vaccinated.
The CDC says 2 rounds of the MMR vaccine, usually given by the age of 6, is 97% effective against the virus. But those with immunocompromising conditions or those with higher exposure can still face elevated risk from a pool of people who aren't vaccinated. While the national standard for vaccination is 95% or higher, the reality is much lower for many states. Only 11 actually reach that mark. And in Gaines County, Texas, the vaccination rate hovers around 80%, creating ripe conditions for more infection.
Now in a bit of space news, a new lunar lander will carry NASA technology on a mission to search for water beneath the moon's surface. This comes as the agency prepares to send astronauts back to the moon. Megan Morarity has more from the Space Coast.
The Intuitive Machines mission, coined IM-2, is meant to lay the groundwork for astronauts to return to the moon to set up a long-term lunar settlement.
Sets the stage for a lunar economy.
Stephen Altimus is the co-founder and president of Intuitive Machines. He says Athena, this 6-legged Nova C lander, will land on the South Pole region of the moon. According to NASA, it's capable of carrying 300 pounds of cargo. It will also carry a drill that will be used to go beneath the lunar surface to look for presence of gases.
Well, yeah, we have a good inkling that there's trapped water ice on the South Pole region of the moon. What we're going to do here is demonstrate the technique of how you might drill to find it.
If water ice is found beneath the moon's surface, it could be extracted and used for drinking, breathing, and a source of hydrogen and oxygen. Associate Administrator Nikki Fox says this is important in locating where we can set up a lunar economy.
We do need to find where kind of the best place is. That's actually why we have various different missions in the next few years going to different locations, so we can actually look at, eventually where would you want to set up that sustained presence.
The goal is to transition these technologies so everyone benefits from the cutting-edge research done in space.
Now let's talk about a free event this weekend designed for you to shake off the stigma. Stigma and judgment unfortunately remain present in 2025, and local nonprofit healthcare company Thrive Alabama is ready to open up conversations here in the community, as well as offer relaxing exercises and stretches for us all to enjoy. Yesterday, I had the chance to speak with Director of Health Education with Thrive Alabama, Timothy Nolan. Take a listen to what he had to say about stigma and Saturday's event located at Pure Bar here in Huntsville.
Thank you for having me, first and foremost. Moving Away Stigma is an event that we are hosting for the community in efforts to basically destigmatize certain things that we may see on a day-to-day basis. You know, in healthcare, we see a lot when it comes to mental health, sexually transmitted infections, even obesity has stigma around it. So the overall goal of this event is to create that organic conversation, to educate the community, but also reducing stigma as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned some of the different types of stigmas that we see. Can you mention a few other ones and how they have a negative impact kind of on our community?
Yeah, so some we also see stigma like in the workplace as an example. With stigma in the community, it creates bias, it creates stereotypes, which then leads to those preconceived notions on individuals that you just that aren't true. At the end of the day, we have different people who from all different walks of life, the things that they may experience or that they may suffer from, or it's unique, and so it's not always a one-way option for them to experience these things. So the overall goal is, like I said, just to create that organic conversation to where the community is educated, but also feel the need that, hey, this conversation is needed, just because simply that stigma is something that we still are associated with from a long time ago.
Right, unfortunately. And talk a little about what we can expect to see this Saturday.
Yeah, so it's a two-part session. So the first part starts at 11 a.m. It's 11 to 12, then the second part runs from 1 to 2. This Saturday, you'll see staff members over at Thrive Alabama conducting an education session on stigma in efforts to create that organic conversation. At the same time, we like to create interactive programs when it comes to our community. So along with the conversation, people also interact with Pure Bar, which we're thankful that they partner with us to host this event, in efforts to look at the person from a holistic approach. So have some physical activity, a little Pilates, things like that as well.
Nice. Yes, great conversation yesterday with Timothy, and you can find that full 48 Now interview with more details on our website. You just go to WAFF.com, you'll go to digital shows, and then finally 48 Now. And again, make sure you head out to Pure Bar located off South Point Park Circle this Saturday starting at 11. You're just not going to want to miss it. And speaking of things you're just not going to want to miss, it is time for the stories you're just not going to want to miss heading into our evening newscast. Safety changes coming to the intersection of US 72 and Little Cove Road. Get that story coming up from 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy. Another story you're just not going to want to miss, terroristic threats made at Florence High School. 48's Aria Pons will have those details, and speaking with a health professional on the ongoing listeria cases we're seeing here in the Tennessee Valley. 48's Noah Cowell will have that coming up, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. And it is that time, as always, it is time for Facebook fun. That's right. Our 48 Facebook question of the day. If you could live anywhere in the world for just 1 year, where would it be? And let's see what you all had to say. Shane said Bora Bora. Can definitely get behind that without a doubt. Shane, awesome comment. Shirley said Hawaii. I think that is mine as well. I would have a great time. That would be a great year living in Honolulu without a doubt, or Waikiki Beach. That would be incredible. Or even on the Big Island, any of the islands of Hawaii, I would love to live on without a doubt. Shirley, awesome comment there. Susanna said Italy or Greece. I could get behind that as well. In the state, San Diego is the best. That's right, San Diego is beautiful. Susanna, thank you so much. Gloria said the Philippines, 100%. And then Jeffrey Satterfield, Huntsville, Alabama. That's right, he's already living the dream, 100%. Jeffrey, awesome comment. And everyone who commented today, thank you so much for commenting. But that is it for today's Before the Four. I want to thank you all for sticking around and spending a bit of your Wednesday afternoon here. Hope you all have a great night, and as always, thank you so much for watching.